Hey everyone, welcome to the Simplify Your Life Summit. My name is Justin Crosscarry and I'm joined today by Drew Canole. Drew, thank you so much for being on here. Drew is the founder of Organifi and a transformational man just in general. Drew, thank you for hopping on.
Hey, thanks, Justin. Appreciate you having me here.
Yeah, I would love for you to, for those that don't know who you are, just briefly share a little bit about yourself, your own transformation that you went through and kind of what you're up to.
Yeah, so in all topics of transformation, so 10 years ago now, I started Fit Life TV, but I wasn't always fit and healthy. I was 40 pounds overweight. I was out of shape, feeling lethargic every day, wasn't really living my soul's purpose or desire. And then I decided to just drink one green juice every single day. And in 7 days, I had lost like 5 pounds. I'm like, this is insane. All I did is drink one green juice. I was getting the nutrients that my body needed. I was eating the food that loved my body. And before I was eating the food that didn't, right? So I was training my taste buds to trim my waist. I felt incredible, and I only wanted other people to experience what I was going through in transformation in the first state of the physical body 10 years ago. I lost 40 pounds in 90 days. I documented it with my own HD little flip cam, posted it online on YouTube and Facebook. I was like one of the OG influencers. So not only did I have a full physical body transformation, but also mental, spiritual, emotional, and some would argue different bodies as well. You know, your auric, your etheric bodies, these types of things as well.
Fantastic. What would you say are some simple things, on the preference of simplicity? What are some simple things that you see a lot of people missing out on when it comes to their health that they're not already doing?
Yeah, so I think the biggest one, and this is so simple once you get it, but it's so hard for many, many people, and that is simply deciding what thoughts to have each and every day and every single moment. I believe we are powerful beyond measure. And what separates us from every other animal in the kingdom that we know, outside of probably dolphins and whales and some other dimensional creatures that exist, right? If we want to get real woo-woo with it, is our ability to have conscious thinking, our ability to choose our own thoughts, our ability to materialize based on that thinking, as above, so below, right?
Hmm.
So how do I every single day make sure that my thoughts are in alignment with my highest reality that I'm going to create in my moment? So what I'm doing is I'm pausing a lot. And
Mm.
that's the most simplest thing you can do. You just stop being you or the personal vehicle or the identity that you chose to be in the moment. And you just allow that greater aspect of you to silence yourself and really listen without coming up with 70 to 80,000 thoughts a day like we do, these neurotic thoughts that we have as human beings. And it's really stopping, it's pausing and standing portal at the door of consciousness and choosing thoughts in every moment that serve the greater reality or the highest outlook available at the time.
Mm. Powerful. So on that, talking about
Yeah.
thoughts and all the different things that we are thinking constantly throughout the day, and this thing is supposed to help us, right?
Yeah.
What would you say are some simple things that people can do? Would that be meditation, taking
Yeah.
deep breaths? What's kind of like the steps that you like to share with, the clients that you are coaching and also just the people that you do touch base with?
Yeah, so if I had to flash back in the day before I started all this, one of the things that I wanted to do is interrupt what we would call the monkey mind, right? The continual thinking. And you said
Mm.
outside of this, I believe this is one of the greatest tools we can actually use for the reshaping and the development of what we would call the subconscious mind. And we do it real simple. All I do is, okay, so one of my core wounds that I have, the serpent in the middle of the circle, once I travel inward and I meet the shadow self for the first time and I'm looking at it in the eyes, it would be, you're not enough, Drew. You
Mm.
are not good enough to be loved. So one thing I would do right here, right now, and you guys can do this too, or whatever you're doing in the world, is I simply go, hey Siri, remind me in 2 hours that I am love.
Okay, added.
So now that's on my phone, right? So now in 2 hours, if I'm in a subconscious loop or one of these neurotic tears of thoughts, like a wave of emotions, I'm able to stop myself and remind myself that I am love. In this moment now, I am love. I take a deep breath. I
Mm.
remind myself and I just simply be, because it's in the being that creation takes place. That's when we move from the third dimension into the fourth and fifth.
Yeah, that's powerful and so simple using Siri. It's there. Might as well utilize it.
Yeah, instead of using it to look at how we're not showing up and how other people have things that we don't have, and how to, look at social media and go through this comparative or this analysis thing about I should be here and I'm not, I'm not where I need to be. And it's just all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can really stop ourselves and remind ourselves in these moments where we're on these neurotic thought tears, we can really cause momentum to go the other way, to go the way towards positivity, to go the way towards enlightenment, if you want to call it, or the way towards awareness, or the way to connection with other human beings, and ultimately have more love in our life.
Yeah, especially love for ourselves too. So make sure we're asking Siri for that to remind us.
Yeah.
I would love to hear, the biggest thing I have taken away from doing these interviews so far is learning that each expert has successful things that they do on a daily basis. What are some of your non-negotiables that can work for a lot of different people? And they're very simple that you do on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's great. I think I'll give you like 7 of them. And number 1 is to stop thinking, go into the inwards, Drew Canole, go into the inward self. I do it in the morning, even for 5 or 10 minutes. As soon as I get up in the morning, I'm taking time, I'm getting silent. And then I do it in the afternoon, 1 o'clock. So call it meditation, call it even praying out loud at times, where I'm literally calling upon the unseen situations and circumstances that exist in the invisible world. And I'm declaring it as if it's already happened. So that's another part added onto it. So that connection to source, that connection to spirit, the connection to God, it's very real. And I'm with it all day long. Like I have to be. And if I'm not, then I'm doing the Drew Canole show, which is just the meat suit or the vehicle that we call, whatever it is. So
yeah,
that's super powerful and potent for me. Other things that I do is I have to really play music every single day. I'm either on the guitar, I'm on the piano, I'm creating. I'm an artist, so I'm constantly in creation. You're an artist too, as the ancient Toltecs have told us since the beginning of time. You are an artist. And when you create, you're pulling yourself out of the future and you're pulling yourself out of the past. And the only place that creation can happen is in the present moment. So one of the things I do every day is I try to be in the present moment as much as possible. Another thing I do to be in the present moment is words of affirmation to other humans that are traveling around this fireball at 80,000 miles an hour with me at the same time. So how can I be an inspiration? How can I be an aspiration? How can I teach people what I know so that they have more peace and more serenity and they can relax in that calm state now versus, being the neurotic mess that we can sometimes be as human beings.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing that, I'm at my best. And sometimes that looks like filming content. Every single day I could film a video for the rest of my life and I would be good with that. Some will call that work. And I just think my work it's like a workation. I'm on a vacation. I have a vacation vibration everywhere I go. So I'm constantly bringing myself back to that. So these are the small things I do. I also take care of myself nutritionally. Every morning I wake up, I drink 32 ounces of warm water with lemon and apple cider vinegar and cayenne and some really good Celtic sea salt on a good day to mineralize my body. I'm also drinking Organifi all day long. I got green juice, red juice, gold, and pure. I probably have like 5 to 10 servings a day, right? I'm like the biggest advocate of the power of adaptogens and superfoods and Chinese traditional mushrooms. I freaking love it. And to keep my energy up, super, super powerful.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I do. I love to write as well. So again, creation, that would be part of it. Biohacking every day. So whether it's sitting in my HBOC, my hyperbaric chamber that I have in the house, sitting in the pulse bed, the pulse electromagnetic field bed, sitting in the infrared sauna or the cold plunge that I'm so blessed to have here. Those are some other things that I try to do every single day too, to balance not only the internal body, but the external world as well.
I love that. And I would love to hear what are maybe some biohacking tools that someone who, doesn't have the sauna or doesn't have, the different things that you're blessed to have be able to do, such as grounding, different things of that nature, some simple things.
Yeah, I think breath work is probably one of my favorite. So holotrophic breathing, you don't need anything to do it. There goes Blake. You don't need anything to do it, right? So just whether it's Wim Hof breathing, whether it's fire breathing, some of these ancient Ayurvedic technologies that we've been blessed to have in our lives, that's some good stuff. I think cold, putting ice on your head, like if you don't have a cold plunge, just putting ice on the back of your neck 2 or 3 times throughout the day has been shown to kick on those anti-aging pathways. I'm a big fan of extremes. I like putting myself in hot, and I love putting myself in cold every single day. I try to do it at least once or twice.
Yeah.
And that means changing the temperature by about 100 degrees back and forth. So if I'm in a 35-degree tub or I'm sitting in a sauna that's 170, 180 degrees, I'm literally feeling my best. My brain, the circulation, I'm, I love it. So it's kind of like adaptogens for your body, but you're using your external environment to actually do it, which is actually the definition of biohacking. So,
I've been doing the cold showers, not quite 100-degree difference, but just the cold showers. And, not only from a point of what it's doing internally, how I feel, I definitely feel like I had a cup of coffee without having one, but also that mental strength that I'm building consistently by getting uncomfortable and continuing to stay uncomfortable with something that, I don't like, and I know it's not going to hurt me, but it's creating that mental strength. You're incredibly diligent with the things that you stick to. What are some simple ways that you kind of hack your mind and support yourself with making sure you do follow through with the different things that are closest to you?
Yeah, I like to future project or future pace myself a lot. So it's constantly visualizing what I'll feel like, what it'll sound like, what I'll hear from my friends. Once I do it consistently for a period of a year, 5 years, 10 years. So when I first started playing the guitar, I sucked. I was very uncomfortable, right? I got these big meat hooks of hands. It was really hard to get the proper finger chords and everything like that. But what I did is I put myself in the place of what will it sound like a year from now? How can I entertain other people and give value to them when I'm playing this music a year from now? What will it sound like 5, 10 years from now? And then you play that loop in your head when you're going through the times of struggle, which pulls you forward into the future you anyway. So it's a visualization process. Now people are experiencing visualization, and it's just as effective what they're finding in science as actually doing the thing. So I think the active visualization, the active doing it every day, I think you build up momentum if you just commit to 5 minutes. You're not doing anything huge. I'm a big fan of having smaller goals in the beginning to build up momentum, right?
Yeah, little micro habits that build over time. And that's huge because it's so easy to get stuck in that moment when you are struggling, whether it be, new sports or, new musical instruments or even a new job, anything like that, or a new career. And that's huge if you can put yourself out there into the future and really see what that's going to look like. Another thing you do too in your book, UBUs, you talk about, visualizing our death, which is really powerful. And I would love for you to chat a little bit about that and how that can radically shift your mindset and who you be throughout your day.
Yeah, the death, I think, is the core essence of, the shadow self. And it comes from feeling like when we die, this flesh sack that we would call Drew, right, and Justin, is gone. End of story, period, donezo. And it's simply the biggest limitation we have is this sack that's in front of you, right? So if that's the biggest limitation, and we're really, what I like to believe is infinite, we're really light beings, we're really energetic beings, living a human experience for a moment. We're spiritual beings living in this human existence. Death is something that can actually propel you forward. It's actually something that can be very rewarding to meditate on. And I know it sounds bleak. I know it sounds like it's doom and gloom. I know it sounds like, oh God, this, like the darkness of it, right? But it's actually, it can be super motivating to sit with death for 3 to 5 minutes and just be still with it. And ask death as it sits next to you on your left-hand side, as Carlos Castaneda would say, what do you have for me today, right? Today is a good day to die. What are you going to teach me today? Who can I reach out to today? Who can I forgive, right? What am I holding on to that needs to be forgiven? That conscious light spark that's inside of every single one of us. It's such a gift, is forgiveness. And when we can really sit with death, it allows us to ask much deeper questions. Otherwise, a lot of the stuff that we go through in our minds is just surface level.
Yeah.
Right.
It allows us to really see the big picture and what really matters in life. And that forgiveness is huge. It's not for the other person, it's for yourself.
Yeah.
And releasing that out of your body.
Yeah. And it's for yourself, but through, the law of one, we could call it, you are not separate from another human being. So when you forgive you forgive the person, you forgive the collective. And there's karmic debt that's unleashed and up leveled. The frequency changes. There's a lot more going on with forgiveness than just the act of it, energetically speaking.
Yeah. I love that. Very powerful, especially the oneness. And that's something that we fail to, don't always remember. And reminding ourselves that we all are in this together,
Yeah.
I like to say here at Organifi. What are some ways that you, I want to shift to kind of the business aspect, because there will be a lot of viewers listening to this who are entrepreneurs or already building their business.
Yes.
What are some ways that you are able to simplify what you do on a daily basis to have the success that you have had with your business and just in life in general?
So number one, adopting the mentality that everything is easy. So with great ease and grace do I get to accomplish every single task that's before me today. And the time is going to unfold perfectly. The unfoldment of good is going to be the natural occurrence for who I am, because good is all that exists in my reality. And as I say these things and I go throughout my day, I am allowing the divinity or the source or universe, whatever you want to call it, to simply flow through me. Drew Canole doesn't have to do anything. The only thing Drew Canole has to do is get himself out of the way. And from that perspective, it changes the whole entire day. I have a cadre of beings around me. I can't personally see yet, but we know that they're there. This luminous field, if we could really see, as C.S. Lewis says, the amount of light beings that are around us, it's like we're swimming in a sea of them. It brings them great joy when we're actually transforming other people's lives and we're helping people and we're giving back and we're living with this oneness in our mind. So that's probably the biggest habit, is getting myself out of the way over and over and over again. And I've done it to where I build my ego up, and the more you build your ego up, the more you have to tear it down the next day.
That's so powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because it's easy for us to get into, especially saying this is easy, I'm going to have ample time, because I know for myself, it's so easy for me to go, oh, this is going to be difficult. I start thinking at how difficult the task is going to be. So that in itself, saying it's going to be easy, and then also projecting the future, as you mentioned earlier, so powerful for when you are in those moments when you get to have some work to be done. So I love that.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, it's really, it's just white magic or wizardry, right? So we're just using magic, like Harry Potter. I'm a big fan, to super nerd, to actually get stuff done. And what turns out, because your reticular activation system lights up when you recognize things over and over, that synchronicity thing that we see, what lights up is the fact that it is easy. And the more you say it is, the easier it is. As above, so below, or abracadabra simply means as I speak it, it is created. So I'm declaring that. I have 10 appointments today. I have multiple podcast interviews. We're screening for a new hire in one department of the company, but it's all easy and I don't have to do anything. And if I take the piggy or the pony or the elephant off my back, then you can just move through life effortlessly. So I would say that's the biggest thing. I think if you know something is going to be difficult for you, or as I like to call it, your edge, we all have edges, then setting up ways to mitigate the response in your human body to the edge. So making it enjoyable, right? So if you're a sales coach and you're on the phones with people all day and you literally hate sitting at your cubicle or whatever it is, maybe you're taking sales calls. I used to do this in my hot tub. When I would sell people, I'd go down there and sit in the canyon in this beautiful hot tub with this view, and it just put me in a different place. Environmentally speaking, which changed my physiology, which changed my voice and my inflection on the phone, which absolutely changed every single thing about the sales call. So how can I have more good? How can I have more fun? How can I express more love in these individual micro moments? And it takes intention to do that.
Yeah.
before I go to bed at night, I'm telling myself, what are the 3 things I get to do, or I'm blessed, right? Like ALA, the next day that I'm really excited about. And how can I interject more energy from the invisible field into these events that I have going on during the day to make it just so much more seamless and easy. I think what happens is we get so rushed and we wake up and we check our email and we're on our phones and we're looking at our Instagram and our Facebook. And what we're doing energetically is we're just giving away our personal power.
Mm.
So maintaining as much personal power as my Don has always taught me is one of the most important things we can do. So we're not squandering our power. If there's something that I'm really excited to do, I'm going to be a hell yes. And if there's things I'm not excited about, it's just a simple no. So I'm not giving my power to anything throughout the day, to anything that's holding me back from, reaching the highest vibration of who I know I can be in the moment.
Yeah, that's huge. And it also is a great form of self-worth. I know for myself, I was saying yes to almost everything, which at the end of the day, I was giving my power away. And it does build that confidence, when you are able to say no because you're so aligned with maybe something that you're working on or creating the environment that you ideally want, right? You are the 5 people you hang around as well was something I had to get really conscious of. People that were aligned with what I was up to and what I was creating, really getting conscious about that, is something big for me.
Yes, I agree, brother.
Yeah. So last little bit, I've had a couple of different people speak on morning practices, and you kind of touched on some things that you do during the day. But I'd love to hear, because I know you're a big fan of sleep, and we all know how important it is. What are some simple things that these viewers, these listeners can do to get that deeper sleep, and why it's so important?
So I've tested sleep a lot in my own life, and one thing that I've seen move the marker time and time again is, number one, telling your subconscious mind how much sleep you need. So before you go to bed, that's like the given. Number 2, second to that is it's cool for me. So I have a chilly bed, a chilly pad. It's like 55 degrees. I try to keep my room at 60, 65 degrees. And also I try to take a cold dip before bed as well. I think it's a myth that take a hot shower and then let your body cool down and you fall asleep faster. If I'm cold, I knock right out and I sleep the whole night through. Next thing up is drinking Organifi Gold before bed has really helped me with my sleep. Added to that, I actually have organ meat capsulized. So with all the minerals, all the trace minerals that's in it, I just take that. That's really helped mineralize my body, in particular the prostate, because sometimes as men, the older we get, sometimes we wake up once or twice at night, and that can really disrupt your sleep if you're calculating REM cycles and deep sleep and everything else like I do.
Yeah.
Whoop and the Apple Watch and the Oura Ring and whatnot. So for me, taking these organ capsules or even something as simple as a scoop of honey worked well. So just raw, organic honey is really, really good. I think Celtic sea salt can work for a lot of people as well. Just a little bit of Celtic sea salt before bed in water to mineralize your body. And when we wake up, we're chronically dehydrated. So most of the time we're just peeing the water out of us. But if we have the minerals that actually can sustain and hold the water, it's actually a lot better for our bodies. So I do that before bed as well. I'm reading before bed. I have all the blue lights off in the house at about 6 o'clock. The lights shut off, and then I just have red lights. So red lights in the bedroom, and throughout the house where we're reading or whatever. I think that's really important as well, to not wake you up. I'm not looking at my cell phone. I have blackout blinds, curtains. It's so dark in the room. It's quiet. Sometimes I wear earplugs if the dogs are sleeping in the room or whatever. And I get, a solid 100% on the Whoop, like 90% of every night. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So that's how I sleep like a rock.
You got that clocked in. I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time and just sharing your knowledge. So many different little tidbits and tips that all these listeners and viewers can, go more in depth into. Where can, anyone that's not following you or know where you're at, where can people find you?
DrewCanole.com. You can check me out there, and on Instagram and Facebook, YouTube, Drew Canole, or Fit Life TV. And then also, as always, Organifi. If you're interested in getting the world's best superfoods conveniently, easily, and changing your life that way.
Yep. Not only does it make you feel amazing, but it tastes phenomenal as well. So I love them.
Yeah.
Awesome, Drew. Well, thank you again for your time. I appreciate it, brother.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Love what you're doing.
Thanks, man.